Oh, this is fantastic. Best part of the day is to have breakfast. So, hope everybody's doing well. I'm generally I, Space-Time Creator. Getting everybody in setting high interference, suited up in high position location to track lines and high position at all levels to the original blueprints and position of track lines. Now, pausing position location, all levels of track location. Pausing settings, reset position operation. All right. So from 18 to 34 to 40. Imagine that, right? 40 to 45. Because the thing is, every time we get up in the everyday line setting and all set location of our systems, our clockings of our time changes in all levels. See how it pauses in between? Right? Because my computer frame knows exactly what I'm going to be doing before I even do it because it's already done. Okay? You guys will get a point in that set location system. I'm pausing settings, right? From 1 to 105 to 110 to 115, 555 to 120, 5555. Okay? 126, 5555, set position of 5, positive over negative of 6 into 131. Now, 7 line settings of yours and 2 lines of track location. Thumbs up, position, travels. Make sure you do your pre-flights and position. And again, happy birthday to Gypsy. Hope she has a wonderful day. So in position, to all setting lines, we have to understand how we set up our locations to our binary codes. Binary code is line setting high interference, how to use connections on number sequence of patterns. Now, directing communication center and line connections of your core, a reduction, set location line settings, a reduction. Set position locations of splitting half line settings, subtraction. Okay. Same position of core, set location line settings, and track communications. Dimensionalize across line screens. Okay. Making this high position of platforms and high calculation string location in line position to its operation. Okay. Travel calculation high 3 set lines at 4 and position 5, 6, 7, 8 position of travel. Direct communication to the sun and the moon comes in all line rotation, surface, and triangulation. Okay. Now, reposition lines of point systems in 3 settings 1, 2, 3, and position all calculation, triangulation. All right. Calculate line interference, high position to all levels of box frequency patterns, direction of time sequence. Puts position of all core line settings in track location. So it's all about understanding how to use the point system, how to direct and redirect your location settings and track to its communication, how to bring it here to here, the center of operation. Okay. Coercing channels of fluctuation of flux, positions of travel set line connections. All levels are set position to its operation. Okay. Now getting in that set locations, we change the core settings of your pyramid. Now this comes into the sands of times in set location to its operation surface. Triangulates and point system settings high position to its sun and position location to its moon and set location. Okay. Point system line settings, clock line centers, and 1 line rotation. Okay. Set a position of track lines in its sun and the moon, and pyramid activate string location. Setting track to its communications in all levels at 3 line rotation center is set position. Setting track to its communication setting a 4-point system, line calculation setting, and high line interference and travel communication. Got my equation. Okay. Now that's all set up through all security maps of perimeters and parameters and line position and travel. So it's interesting you come into non-line setting because that's where we are in position and provision through our DNA track locations. It's interesting too because we've got 2 viewers line rotation, which is new security map settings. Nothing is coincidence. You are in control of everything. You control your seconds, minutes, and hours of space and time through your thoughts, provision lines of cycles, calculation, high interference, your computer frames, or anything through adaptation, location, space, and time. Okay? Now, in position locations, come in settings, because all volumes are set locations. Each number, each indication of letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, or anything that setting connections to your clockings, it's 458 it's communicating with me in 5-4. 5 line centers, 5 operational line connections of 9. Now 8 provision lines of calculation of view into volume over 2, which is security maps, position, location, and track lines. Back in the set location of 520. So I really want you to understand that you are in control of everything in set locations. All right. Now, getting into that setting, we get you guys in your pyramid string locations. Now, in that set locations, we come in your pyramid set locations. So we skyline the channels. Okay. Skyline position locations, lines, electrical line communications, all levels of direct signal, above system. Okay. Tracking lines of point system down across locations, right? 0 communication line settings. Okay. Now, directing lines of wall lines and position location in center. Direct communication diamond core set location lines of platforms and communication. Okay. Now, in position locations, we come into all settings of 2-track locations. Okay. In position locations to your center line connection. All right. Now, this is a line shadow, line shade, and line position to its all track location in one center. Directing panels and communication to its point system travels its line settings. All right. Point system, traction. Okay. So that's 3 point systems and 3 lines of calculation. Okay. Now we set positions on the opposite side of calculations of 3 line settings. Traffic communications indirect signal and position with platform. Platform communicates the center lines, operation surface, and set location to its setting and traction. Okay. Now, in that direct signal, we change position location line centers of 0 calculation setting and position to its operation. Okay. Now, this is where we come into all calculations. Now, the pyramid activation center that calculates line set locations comes into flux capacitor in 3 set locations. Right. So this is where it comes in 3 lines of elixir, 3 lines of cosmic plane, 3 lines of cosmic fire, 3 lines of communications, 3 lines of directions, 3 lines of cycles, 3 lines of provisions, 3 lines of computer frames, and 3 lines of coordinations of pi and direct signal of operation. So in that line connections, we cross the stream of security lines. It's a box frequency pattern in position location to its system and track location high centers to its operation surface and track location. Okay. So in that position locations, we change the magnetic line screens in direct signal to apply to the line set location to an XT1000 screen location. Okay, done by collision. All right, so that's out of track. In that position location line systems, now we use the number sequence. Now line position locations is 4 channels, 4 channels, 4 channels, 4 channels. All right. So it sets position locations of 8 and set location line setting. Right. Sets lines of coordination setting line position of 4, and 4 is 8 position locations equals lines of calculating line interference. 4 tracks lines of 8, 8 lines high center interference, and 8 position of track lines and 8 line rotation and diamond core shift line screen location. So in that line center line interference is all about understanding how to put a pyramid lines of a binary code set locations back together. Triangulation to reset position of point systems of 3 lines of coordinations of 3 tracks, 3 tracks, 3 tracks of 8, and infinity line rotation of center communication, and a flywheel or line rotation center interaction. Directing communication line settings is all levels of system locations. Okay. Now getting into position, we split the anomalies and track locations in 2 lines. Okay, tracking lines of 2 panels. Operate the 2 line communications on levels. Now, position of track lines, we come into graph screens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 settings. Okay. Setting locations in position of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 settings and set locations. All right. So in position, we come into the triangulation reset position of programs in a diamond core line, shift line, screen location, high center position of its operation. Okay. Now, driver codes come in line calculations. Now we come in the coloration path, which comes in matrix screen locations. Center communications in position of 3 settings. Okay, see the green? So center position location of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 track locations. 0, 0, 0 track locations. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Sets position of 4 line settings. Sets position locations in 8 line setting. Sets position location 8 line communication. Sets position location of ground lines. Operates line surface. in a new line rotation center and calculation setting to a core reduction and set position of operation. Okay, see it? Now, the Galvin curl line center interference, we set position location of graph lines, set position location of space lines and time line sequence, sets position location of zero operation, zero ground, zero communication, zero surface, zero communication line interference, zero track communications high setting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 centers on calculation stream location, high detection. Setting track lines and communication in its program setting. All levels of its operation surface and set location. Okay, complicated, right? Now, measures and scales is direct signal to a triangulation high center. Setting track to its communication system to its diamond core shifts the anomalies, line calculation setting, earth perception, string locations, and projections in all set location. Okay. Now, directing panels, we come into coloration path that redirect location of security line settings. So, changing correlation settings of two panels and position of track to its communication. Okay. Center calculation line interference comes in all settings into all lines of space anomalies in set location. Okay. Directing communication of zeros in position of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 set location. All right. Then we go to cross line calculation line interference. Sets position location settings of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in position of traction. Okay, one line calculation setting. So the coloration path changes the metric line calculation centers of all operations, surface, and triangulation. Center lines as communication line screens. Sets line communication line high interference and position location to a magnetic line charge in direct signal through system to data set location. Okay, now in the signalism line rotation centers, the track to its communication setting comes into a matrix graph. Matrix graph comes into black line screens. Set line position of 1, 2, 3 set location. Okay, arrow pointing direct lines as circle line communication center of operation surface and triangulation reset position of programs and line calculation of binary codes and all levels of high calculation stream locations of high calculation. Okay, done my equation. All right, so the center position line centers is now set up. Okay, this is where we come into 42 stream location to its location grid and center of its operation. Okay, triangulation, high calculation of its pyramid, and line calculation of stargate, star panels, star divisions, star position locations. Directing communications, one signal, position of panel. 2 lines of calculation setting, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. 4 lines of center, 4 lines of activation, 4 communications, and 4 lines of track locations. All right, in provisional line calculation setting. So we take the 3 tracks, 3 line divisions, and 4 set location. All right, track calculations of 2 lines across line streams and set position location of 3 set location line settings. Tracking its communication lines to a magnetic high wave variation line setting high calculation system to traction. Okay, very complicated stuff. Now, directing communication of panels, we take the 2 line centers, the 2 track location, and the 2 line divisions, and a new center operational line calculation to a binary surface in line calculation setting of core set location. Now, getting into that position location, the location grid changed the channels lines into a rainbow graph line calculation setting in 12 into 24, 48, 72, 144, and track location of measure in set location. Okay. Now, directing centers, and coming into the binary system, see, binary system line setting, right? Tracking of 3 lines of provision, 3 triangulation reset position of programs, calculation high interference into your diamond core and a shift line anomaly, line track location system, and all levels as set position of tesseract channels in communication with its operation surface and set location. Okay, very complicated stuff. Done by equation. Okay, so the binary line settings is set up. Getting line calculation lines, set position locations, all levels. Okay, square roots, high position of pi. Hourglass, direction of timelines, subtraining lines of center line communication surface, and a flywheel recognizes high calculation. Directing communication, triangulation, reset position programs, and 2 line screen locations. Calculation modification line centers. Allocate line positional platforms and line rotation center in all calculation system in all lines of dimensional lock line screens is set position to their setting. Okay. Now, in communication, you come into zero communications into all levels, into container. Now, that container comes into position of travel lines. In line communications to a 3-spectrum communication setting is a platform communication. Okay, very complicated stuff. So, retracking divisions is a point system. Okay, to your solar plex in line calculation setting. Okay, see it? So the platform communicates line screens, sets direct signals. Now getting that position locations comes into your pyramid of activation locations in all centers of operation. Okay. So in that communication line centers, we're going to the higher self, get communications to the avatar, and position location to SIM. Okay. It's all set up through triangulation, reset, position, and programs. Okay. Platitude line interference, high calculation setting to a dome, and center lines across line screen locations. Okay. Setting track lines, high calculation setting, jump start, and 2-line division location, high setting. High position location at 3-line loops and line rotation center, and in position location of system and traction. Done by equation. All right, so really understand how to get into all lines of platforms, and your position at track communication opens up new cycles and position of time sequence in all track location and high line division and a skyline line provision, line calculation, stream location, and center of its operation system. Okay. All right, so that's done. So how's everybody doing so far? Everybody's connecting to their waving line cycles and high position to the binaries, the binary system to their system to locations. To understand how to use it at all levels of formation, right? So it's about understanding how to really get positions of number of sequence locations. So we've got 3 pyramid line screens and direct signals. Okay, there's the pyramids. Okay, here's your line setting location in your perception setting of astral projections. Okay, point system locations. All right, now setting triangulation and reset position. Okay, now so we get sensors half height of 6, line connection of 6, in position of 6, and center of 6. Okay, getting position line track lines is all about understanding how to set position to its operation. Setting position of track lines, okay, into its dimensional and its solar sail of track location. Very complicated. So 3 pyramids line set locations. You get in one line centers of 3, 6, and 9. Okay, 3, 6, and 9. So the 3 lines calculate high interference. That's 3 over lines of high calculation and high position location of 9 in set locations. 3, 6, 9, right? So that's what we do. We take the 3, 6, and 9 and we platitude line interference into heart, mind, and soul. Direct line calculation set at 3, 6, and 9, right? So that's plus line position locations, right? Setting say location of 9 in position of 10 in position of 11 and 12 in line signal. 12 comes back in line rotation interference. 24 in ground center of center operation. Done by equation. Okay. Now, has that set up position your track lines, your DNA lines, its surface lines of its balanced stream location in one center. One center opens up all calculation lines to your flywheel of redirection settings and high calculation direct and redirect panels to its operation surface. Now, the triangulation reposition of the programs comes in all calculation to your location grid and center position of operation. So the platforms come line setting into 2 lines of track. Okay, in position of 3 lines of set location triangulation, high position locations of pyramids, and 3 division line calculation stream locations, and high levels of channel and position to its operation surface. Okay, done by equation. All right. So the center communication is really to understand how to set position to your operation locations. All right. So this is where we come in positions of 4, in position of 4, in position of 4, in positions of 4, and 4 in center. Okay. So 4 lines of 3, 4 lines of 3, 4 lines of 3, 4 lines of 3. See what I'm doing? Okay. Apply 2 lines, pyramid line, stream location, standard set location centers, operation line surface and set locations, 4 generation streamline calculations, 3 line provision line calculation stream locations, 4 signals high position travel communications, all of the 3 over 3 line position locations, and 4 in center of operation. Now, directing communication lines of center is really to understand how to set position to set lines of communication of center of its operation. Now, getting that position location line centers, 4 tracks is high center, all right? and provision of 3. So it's line calculation, put 7 in operation. Okay, so in line position locations, times lines x2. All right, so that's times line. That comes into x2. Okay, so the x lines of 2 line track lines puts in the 9 provision, 9 cycles at the top location, right? So this is where it comes into the fly reposition location of attractions into your film projector and set location of lights and your sun and set position of operation. Okay. Now, directing communication line centers, we take the 444 channel positional platforms and direct signals. Now, the platitude line interference comes in 2 position locations platform communication. Now, directing line calculation, we have a dimensional line. Okay, it's a dimensional line sail in position of split lines of 2 anomalies and 2 door set location. Directing communication line screen sets high calculation, high position to its operation surface and set locations. Directing communication line interference comes into levels of action projections to correlation panels of 2 track locations. Okay, very complicated stuff down by equation, right? So the 9 central line is set up now. Okay, your cycles and high calculation comes in an XT1000 stream location at the top, right? Scans position location lines of the center operation, sets position the operation location system, scans position location of center of operation locations, comes into a flux capacitor line screen, and direct signal to its set position to its operation surface and fluctuation of vortex stream location of center of operation. Very complicated stuff, right? Down by equation. Okay. Satellite divisions and Wi-Fi reproduction systems. Track 2's calculation high centers. Now getting to modification line centers. Now all the 4 lines of 3 is now set up position track lines in a diamond core shift line stream location of center. So we got 4-point systems, all calculation open signal. Okay. Comes into position location due to Stargate star panels and direct signal. Now, getting that position location comes in this center line communication of center of operation. Now, directing communication crosses line screens, platform line rotation, center of traction. Directing communication of pyramid lines comes in this set location, right? Direct is high positional platforms, center lines, center line communication, right? Now, platform communication comes in this line setting of its operation surface. Comes in position location to its system through its intelligence, all communication to its 9 system track location. See the intelligence? Boom. All right, so waving patterns, XT1000s and 2 platforms communication at the bottom. Center correlation line interference in position of 3 lines and 3 lines in a double helix and rotators and line position 2 track location high centers and all dimensional line screens, crossing line signals and high center interference in 1 set location. Travel calculation line interference, high travel position to the upper line cycle, calculation cross line screen location of XT1000 position of travel. Directing communication line interference, all positional location of 2 line centers and track location. Directing communication line interference opens all signals to the sun, to the moon, to the modification line screen, to set location of its operation. Down by equation. Okay. So the metric screens, the calculation all levels of matrix line grids are now in modification of lines, communication line centers. So graphic communication and graphic communication line screens is application of 3 sets. Okay. Platitude lines, lacing lines, and communication of 2 graphs. 2 graphs comes in a 4 graph location, right? Traffic calculation line interference sets position location lines of 3. Sets locations 2 lines, 3 lines of 4. 4 track locations, 4 lines of 3 equals lines of 7 equal lines of 2. Track location highest center interference of 9 line provisions and set location of center of operation. Now, directing communication line interference is the pyramid stream location high settings of detection. Directing communication line centers opens all signify calculation stream location high centers of traction. Directing communication and map sequence comes in all levels of security maps and position of program line calculation stream locations of high setting. Down by equation. Now, the mechanism line interference comes into waving cycles, crossing the lines of communications, all right? So energetic waves, modify line signals, modulation screen locations, high settings, high position to its operation set location. Okay, down by equation. Mapping sequence lines of 4 over 3 over lines of 7 and outline position location of 8 and line position of 9. So in that position location, we come in 999 sets position of 4, right? Equal line calculations of 999 sets positions of 3. Sets communication of 7 line channels. So we have the XT1000 lines of box line, triangulation, reset position locations, high line interference equals lines of 2. track locations, 7 lines equals line communication, 9 center position of operation. Direct communication lines are 2 platforms, and 0, 0, 2 position lines of space and position of time in sequence. Okay, operation line set location, triangulation, reset position programs, and line position location with operation line calculation setting, 9 in signal and modification. Okay, now tracking lines of 9 in position of 9, 9, 9 in line communications all levels. Tracking device lines of 3 set location line centers, high position is operation. So in position location, pyramid line setting, in position locations, pyramid line center rotation, 2 track locations. Track to communication lines of platform communication to a metric screen location center of operation surface and track locations. Down by equation. All right. So allocated switch lines and stream location centers is really to understand how to set position to its tone. So it's very complicated, right? What I'm doing, right? Through formula, equation, setting, and traction. Okay. Mechanism high position location to its operation line centers is really understand how to set its communication to the center of its operation surface, right? So it's interesting, okay? In line rotation interference, there's no interference of any way and form, but in position, it's all pause through 26 to 12 to 18. So it's slowing down its space, but it's speeding up its anomalies of track locations of 24 line cycle into 14 correlation settings in position of viewers in line position of 3 and line conditions of thumbs up and set location of track lines. So once you understand how this all works in position to its operation, you understand the calculation to its setting. Okay. All right. How's everybody doing so far? Right? Remember, you have to control all these line screens and set location of operation surface. Okay, so like I said, the drawings are going to get more complicated through all levels of formulas, equations, line conditions. All right, so center position line connections, alpha lines, communication. Okay, those are alpha. Now the alpha line calculation setting is a box, triangle, box, triangle, box, triangle, box, triangle. Okay. Now you have to understand, because the male and the female line center location is its measure in position location at all levels of yin and yang. The process communication line center location is how to use the box in center of our operation, how to use the triangulation in center lines of operation, how to use the box in center position to its operation, how to use the triangulation in center position to its operation, how to use the box and line calculations to its operation high centers, how to use the triangulation high position to its operation line calculation, how to use the high calculations to its triangulation in position to its operation, how to use its box location to its center of its communication. Okay. So in that position to its pyramid line, screen lines, a calculation of its stream location. Okay. So get in that position line calculation setting is a new 0 ground line. Center position is operation of 3 lines of communication as center of operation. Okay. Direct communication crosses line screens. Flux capacitor center to position to its operation surface. Triangulates high position locations. So box lines of alpha, box lines at high calculations of delta, delta lines of theta, theta line rotations, hemisinks over pi, triangulation high position programs, direct and communication lines of triangulation reset position of 333, 444, 777, set position line calculation setting into 5 provision cycles in line calculation system, and split anomalies in 3 set location of travels and direction of time sequence. Down my equation. All right. Mechanism of travel lines and formulas, equations, set location of your system, and travel communication is really understand how to set the calculations to its setting, right? Because we're in a 13 track locations in a 3 measure. Okay. Into 29 line sequence in line position locations into 13 channels of operation, right? That's the time setting. That's the formation of its higher self, and that's a 3 signal of its operation. So we take the 1 line centers and 3 track lines of 1 and 3 lines of 2 panels in position of 1 point system. Travel calculation of 3 lines center and line interference into 3 set locations, into 3 set location, into 3 set locations of past, present, and its future line communications, bringing into the future line calculations of formation line calculations of the now and set location of travel. Direct communication line centers of 2, 9 line centers, 2 equal lines of correlation centers of 3 track locations in the high center interference, and 1 line position 13 and higher self track location of center. Down my equation. All right. And so really understand how to set position to its operation location setting from seconds, minutes, and hours, guys. You have to really understand how this all works through all set location system and travel calculations. All right. So we got 0 ground lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 6, 7, 8. Set position locations of 9. 10 goes in the center. 11 goes up, and 12 goes in set position to its operation. All right, that's how it's set up into its position. Okay. Now you got 2 umbrellas line centers, ether core line rotation interference, measure and position locating high centers, and measure and correlation high set location of travel settings. Now, direct communication line settings, you split the anomalies in 3 track locations, right? Energetic map screens, set location of operation. Center communication lines of 1, track location alpha, in line position of delta, and position of theta, in line communication travels of recognition. Travel calculation line interference sets position location of center, operation location of pyramid line to stream locations. Direct and communication line set location of 3 pyramid line rotation center and track locations. Center operation lines of 4 line signals, high calculation stream location, high setting. Done by equation. All right. So it's really understand how to set position location to your measures and correlation high interference into your Schumann resonance in direct signal to alpha, delta, and theta and position all calculations. Mega channels in 0, 0 is 0 and 0 operation of 2 panels, stream location of center. All right, done by equation. All right, so like I said, it's going to become complicated. So we take the 8 lines of track, 7 lines of provision. We take the 6 lines of throat line, high position location of 5 lines, high position of 4, and line calculation of 3, and 2, and 1 in operation surface applications. Travel extent timelines comes in at dome center. Position location line system to its pyramid stream location at set location. Done by equation. All right. See how powerful it is when you set these things up. All right, so that's in position contraction. Now, getting into the higher line screen is really understand how to box the surface location of travel settings. 3 mechanism line centers, 8 provision, 8 center, and 8 location. Okay, so that's 3/8 of channels in 3 setting. Okay, very complicated stuff. Now in that position, we take the 3-point systems in all lines of platform in one cycle line calculation stream location of center. The trajectory communication line interference comes into 1, 2, 3s of provision. Center correlating high interference comes into pi, a direct signal. Sets position location all setting into new solar sail and track locations into 4 lines of position to its operation. Okay. Platitude line interference sets position location XT1000 comes out in position, right? Travel calculation line interference sets location of wave line centers. Sets calculation sonar in line position location of system and track locations. 1, 2, 3, 5 channels of stream location. All right. Direct and communication line interference of point system. XT1000 comes in, scans position of point systems, the 3 track location of pyramid setting. Direct communication line setting high position level, scans position, all 3 allocated line centers of time. Done by equation. All right. All right. Very complicated, guys, but it's a lot of fun. All right. So once you get into cycles, high set location of measures lines calculation, 2 line settings, 2 track location of scale and lines of balance, signify calculation, triangulation, reset, position of point system, and travel. Travel communication of point line set location of intelligence. Direct communication of panel lines and 3 lines of 3 set locations. Crosses line stream and line calculation setting a 3 line rotation. Travel calculation of lines of 0 line center and lines of communication, direct signals. Modify high interference of 2 platforms, calculation high interference into open doors and line rotation center and point system and track location. Now, directing communications of panels comes in all signify. Platforms in 1 signal line communication of pi and direct signal. Position location of its operation system comes into new platoon and line rotation center. Tractors correlating high interference comes into film strips and set position location high centers into all line positions of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 set location. Okay. Travel direction of timeline. The sun comes in and protects the all line rotation center of calculation to its face recognition. Down by equation. All right. Okay, so that's in position lines of track. Now we get into levels of communication. Now levels of communication is 1 line setting. Okay. Get communications into a backforce line setting. Track location, high center location of box line setting location. Track to its communication to a circle line communications. Triangulation and reset position of program set location. Set lines of Fibonacci line, swirl line rotation. Setting track lines, set position of its operation surface. Triangulation reset position locations, all levels. Pi correlating high interference to travel communication, direct signals. Setting high lines and levels and position triangulation, high position location, high centers, all position is traction. So line position location of its diamond core, shift lines calculation anomalies in northwest, east, and south line communication. Directing communication lines of triangulation of 3-point systems at 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 12 lines of center in position location of 12 line position, 12 lines of measure, and 12 calculations. So inline or interference, high calculation, high interference, high position location of travel lines. 12 equals lines of XT1000 line. Okay. 2 track locations of 2 X line positions in position of point systems, travel line, position location, travel lines. Point line centers of box location center and line interference and 3 set location travel lines and point settings of direction. Setting position of travel communication system, all levels in set location. Okay. Now, getting position of traction is knowing exactly how to get into the binary reset connections or codes. So getting in that position locations, you change the lines of 6, 7, and 8, and 9 in center of operation. Now set line calculation settings of 10 and position of 11 and 12 in the center of communication. 12 line sets position all levels, 12s over 6, 6 over 5, 5 lines of over 4, 4 lines of 3, sets position of 7 operation surface. Triangulates and reset position of programs in 1 line rotation center in direct signals as applications of the now set position of operation. Done by equation. Complicated stuff. Very complicated stuff. Okay. So that's all set up. And triangulation reset position of program settings. Okay. Modify high calculation lines at 2 track locations. Okay. In position location and setting operation. Pi recognition of time sequence, okay? All levels of scan line settings, and then 10 position lines of 12 in line rotation interference, and 13 triangulation reset position programs in a line position to its operational line set location of 0 in position calculation stream location. All right? Remember, everything works in pyramid stream locations, all right? Direct and communication line setting is timestamps over pi. Now that position there's water's intake high calculation setting into subterranean set location, right? Into all calculation near pyramid line or rotation surface. Triangulation reset position of film strips, 1, 2, 3 set location, right? We start that setting. The elixir, okay, the cosmic flame, and the serpent fire, directing signals. Position location of 3 lines, 4 line positions. So we got 3 lines of center, and we got 4 lines of system, and we got 3 calculations, all right? So that's 7 lines equals lines over pi. Direct location of 2 lines, string location of 9 in center of operation. Okay, so that puts a higher line position to your system in your DNA track location centers. Okay, now getting to that position location, the 4 lines of 3 and the 3 lines of 4 comes in a triangulation and reset position of program setting. All levels of position travels. 0 lines of 12 lines and a 24 line signal and a 48, 72, and 144 set location system of perimeters and security map sequence, high position of pattern lines, and high position track lines in communication. Okay. Direct communication to cross line screens. Direct and communication line screen lines, calculation modification to the center. Operation graph line calculation settings of pi direct location system. 0 calculation, 0 calculation, 0 calculation to 3 settings. Okay, sets position of 4, line position over cross lines, sets position of 3 in center, 2 lines of track, and position of 9 in center of operation. Direct communication of 0, 0, track location of 0, 4 lines of 0 line communications, 3 lines of communication lines, and these crossing line streams. That's positive, 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 negative, 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 and positive in the center of operation, down by equation. All right, look how powerful that is in set locations. Lacing lines of communication cross-line screens sets all levels of operation your pyramid line screen location system to your binary codes at reset position of operation. Okay, done by equation. So how's everybody doing? Yes, drink your water. How is everybody doing? It's incredible what we're coming into. Forming this equation. All right, so we go through the graphing line, rotating surface, circles, line calculation setting, and position location of 4-point centers of circle line communications into a box TV frame set location. Okay. 2 lacing lines of communication, right? And again, you're always in your pyramid, okay? So coming back to your pyramids, the original implant position location line center is the future set location, right? Past is an echo, line calculation setting, attractions, right? Point systems, subterranean, conscious line, inline rotation interference is sub-line rotation centers and position track lines. 3 set location sets them, right? Track location of waiting lines and travel lines of 3 line rotation centers and travel communications. This is where it comes into 3 set position in its operation. Now, the operation line calculation setting sets a pyramid line screen. That directs signal location in your systems and travel calculation line settings in all levels of set surface and set location. So the lacing lines, line signals, high calculation string locations comes into modifications to your DNA track location of center of operation. Done by equation. All right, so in position of formation, we get into scales of balance. Now, get into the metric alpha line setting, track locations, high position location system, 2 lines, 10 lines of box line center. Okay, box line center location, triangulation, reset position programs, calculation high interference of 3, 3, 3, 2 panels of communication, right? Direct calculation of 3, 3, 3, set position to all calculation. Direct communication line interference, you guessed it, UFO set location. See UFO? Track calculation of 3 line centers in 1 position and pi set location. Direct communication lines of 3 settings. So you got 1 and 2 and 3 panels, 3 lines of 4, 4 lines of 3. You always work with 7, but your calculation is now a 9 as center of operation. Direct communication lines, outline signals, lines of communication of 3 zeros, set locations, 3 line settings, high track location, right? So 3 zeros of operation sets the ground lines, operation server location system, all levels of new operation line setting location. Okay, very complicated stuff. All right, so we got the 3 line panels, and then we take the 4 line waves, direct communications, 4 lines of signals, 4 lines of equals lines of 3, over lines of 7, lines of 2, line rotation interference is 9, that's set location of box center set location. That equation, all right? Boom. And again, you're working within your pyramid set location. Everything is inside connections. Okay? All right. How are we all doing? All right. So this is a lot of schematics. This is a lot of formula equation, but it's got to get done. Because it's already done in equation and line setting. So you're just understanding the process sequence and how to really understand how to get your system location, your systems. Okay, so we've got 0, 0, sets position of 1, 1 position location of 2. All right. Sets position of 2 and position of 2 into 3 set location. All right. Now everything is in chronological order. Sets lines of center line rotations into half line cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 line connections. Okay. Travel direction of time sequence 0 to 2 track locations. Right. 0 to 2 track locations. Right. 3 lines of center, sets position, splits the anomalies, and line setting, line connection setting to a 0 line communication with setting. Now, directing lines of high calculation, collect these signature streams, right? Calculation ground lines, high calculation setting into pi set locations. Splits the anomalies, color it the panels, and direct signal to 1 line set location of space. Sets direct line calculation setting in position to its planet surface, and triangulation reset position of programs and all line communications of point system to traction. Traction calculation line interference into 6 lines of the moon, sets position location to another portal line communication setting and track location, okay, into its location grid. Location grid crosses line screens and set position to its calculation stream location to its setting of its operation. Okay, done by equation. So, is everybody having fun? We all having fun? Trying to figure out what's going on? Love doing formulas equation, I'll tell you that. Okay, so you got 1 signature line panel. We got 4 lines of position, 4 lines of track, 3 lines of division, 3 lines of center, 3 lines of calculation. Okay? Everything's got to be in a pyramid setting of traction, right? So you always work with 4, you always working with 3, you're always working with 7, equals lines of 2, calculation high interference is 9 set position notes operation. Triangulation high position of program setting, high calculation lines of 2, waving patterns. So I know you got to watch it again and again and again and again and again. It's just the formulas just get too crazy, don't they think? So, all right. It's getting very difficult now. All right, so in that position line connection line centers, we take the 8 tracks, 8 tracks, 8 tracks, 8 tracks, and come to a 4-box location center traction. Now, in that direct line connection, we take the 8 line centers, 8 position travels, 8 line centers, and 8 line interference in set position its calculation. Waving patterns into 2-track lines, 4/3/7 into a realm position location to setting a track communication. Okay, direct communication line is next 2,000 there. Sets location setting, scans through and line connection crosses line screens, sets lines of operation. So the X2000 goes here, and it goes here, and goes around in position location attraction. Okay, so 4 metric meters, line position of pi, and 3 set location of center in calculation. Direct and communication line settings opens all panels and communication setting to a new track division in line positions, all calculating high interference of platforms at track location. Okay. Very complicated stuff. Now, the pyramid line rotators sets calculation of your system and traction. Comes into film projectors in 3 set locations. Crossing line screens in line connections of 3, 4, 5 set location. Okay? Now, in that position, the sun comes in line setting in position to its location surface. Okay? Done by equation. Okay? The graphical screens, a space anomaly, is now in a future line screen setting. Okay. The core reduction set location, earth perception screen location is coming into geometric objects multi layers, directing the same location to its high calculation setting to its system locations. Very complicated stuff. Okay, through equation. All right. So I know Gypsy's going, whoa, this is a big day for my B day. In position to its operation surface. But this is how you come into all levels of formulas equation. It just doesn't get any better than that, right? Okay, so triangulation reset lines, a point system, and cross line signals. 4 lines of measure and 3 line calculation. Okay, so in position of 4-point systems, we change the box into a diamond. Okay, center correlations of your earth and set position of operation. Center correlation setting, center positions, all levels of magnetic highway information line setting. Driver calculation line interference in position of new tesseract tetrahedron and at all levels of Merkaba line set location of travel and position lines of intelligence set location. See the intelligence, set location, set location. There it is. Boom. All right, so the center communication of point-point systems colorate the line screens. 4-point systems and position attractions. Okay. Now, directing communication, your flywheel is going to be offline rotations. So it's 8 lines of measure, equal lines of 1, calculation high interference of 9 set locations. Okay? So the center communication line setting sets security lines of 2 panels of stream location. Sun comes in, crosses line screens only in the 9 set position of operation. The operation lines of the X2000 comes out of the sun position of traction. Center lines, skips lines anomalies, sets lines of correlation high interference, sets new panels, line settings, high calculation setting to a location grid, and center position to its operation. Direct communication crosses lines and 2 lines of 3-track locations of panels. Direct communication line settings, all levels of platforms, and 8 central lines of a 9-line center into a dimensional realm set location and placebo to a new cerebral cortex of a dimensional door line signal and position locations into 9 channels of operation. Down by equation. But look how powerful that is when you look at it. Okay. All right. So like I said, it's going to get more tricky. Okay. So understanding your digital layers of platform communications, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 set locations, right? And we got 1, 2, 3, right? You see 3 there? No, you only see 2. You know where the 3 is? Position of connection 1, 2, and 3 set locations. Right? 3, 3, 3. That's the equal correlation setting up and position locations down. Cross line setting. Equal correlation of bounds, position, traction. Now, directing communication line interference is taking 3 line signals, 3 line divisions, and 3 set location of cycles, and 3 grounds of operation. Position of 2 panels, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 set location, right? And then we go line connections of 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 set location. That's the graph. That's the new graph now. Setting track lines of high center interference and graph communication center of operation. Directing communication of pyramid lines, here location of center. Splits and arms in track location of center position. Sets position to its operational line calculation settings in 4 track locations. Directing calculation setting. Water containment line calculation of mountains. Directing communication of mountains and line set location line system. Direct locations of mountains and 3 set location line system. Track calculation line interference and position location to all levels of high track location setting and all line rotation surface and triangulation reset position of programs and intelligent information location of center operation. Done by equation. All right. So that's indirect signal. Now, once you understand how this all works, then you understand how to track the position at all levels of measure. Scale settings and balance position travel lines. Okay, so you got alpha, you got delta, and you cross in line screen location at theta of operation surface. Okay, now resetting line calculation lines is cross and stream. Lacing lines of communication to an S line setting. Sets position of 2 panels of correlation, right? Direct communication. Superman, here comes Superman. All right, point system track location, right? XT1000 crosses line screens, inline centers to a new operation surface and an inline set location to a setting. Okay, so it slides down in line position of point system in 3 track locations. Okay, so in the line calculations back in position of the sun of its operation surface and all calculation triangulation high position to its operation set location. Now in direct signal, we have to understand how to use the center communication, right? Because now it's changed in center lines of operation. Okay, so the point system XT1000 comes out of position into center line communication, into ground line surface, in a triangulation reset position of programs, in a triangulation high calculation setting, into the diamond core line shift line, and a 4-box 3-line set location setting, and to 7/2 to 9 line provisions, in a cycle line communication setting, in a track location system, and a psychological communication setting, and a pyramid line rotation surface and triangulation. That my question. All right, so that's all set up. Mechanism line calculation of travel settings. Okay, so once you understand how everything works, you understand the graphing screen lines and set locations in the 4 panels. Okay, graph lines of 3 set location of center. Okay, remember you always work with 4, you always work with 3. 9 is at the top now. Okay. 4 is in set, 3 is in track, and 12 is in position of center. 12 comes up, 12 lines, calculates line interference, 12 position location center, puts position of 24 in set location. Okay? Sets calculation high is a clock line high interference and travel communications, splits anomalies in 3 track locations. Sets calculations of 1, 2, and 3 set locations, right? Sets calculation anomalies of 1300, set location of 1400. Set special location of 1500, and calculation of 1600, set position location of 1700, set position of 1800, set position of 1900, set position of 2100, crossing line screen, 4 lines over pi, direct line calculation setting, and a 24 line cycle being a Yang process communication. Done by equation. All right, so I know it's very powerful what we're coming into. So once you understand the position of track lines and you have 24 line rotating surface, line position location changes all levels of fly direction and time sequence. Okay, center communications. Consider a new dome center of position location, 9 centers of operation. Now, directing lines, you have to understand the panels. The panels blitz high calculation line. This splits the line centers and high calculation lines of crop circle center position of location of its operation. Okay, down by equation. All right. So that was very powerful panel communications. All right. So the reason why I'm doing all these formulas equation because it's coming into new ground lines into calculation of all positions of point centers and position location of track lines in calculation of high interference and travel communication system and all levels of operation surface. Okay. So the center communication of 0 lines across inline screens. Direct location of your cell lines travels communication of program settings. direct communication operation line, surface location, high center interference, crossing lines of the atom, rotates high position of all molecules, structure division location of point systems, calculation modification of 3-point systems, and track location and center of operation. So directing communication lines at ground lines, gravel loads high position of 4 lines at communication ground centers, high position to setting, set position location to grid, and line position to travel lines at 3 set locations. Direct communication lines of center lines of sunline communication surface and track communication. Done by equation. All right. So all the atoms and molecules instruct line calculation in your cell lines of travel communication, dimensional door setting. 3 set line calculation of 4, 5, line centers of 6, back force line setting, high position travels. Wall connectors, stream locations. There's your wall, there's your panel. Okay. Travel communication of point systems, atom lines, molecular structure communications, atom, protons, electrons, neutrons, high calculator stream location of 7 line rotation center. Tractors communication line interference comes into 7 over pi. Operation line calculation stream location, 3 lines at 4 set position of 5, 6 cross line, 7 line interference at set position to its operation. Triangulation high position location, high centers. Sun comes in on the ground center to a center position to new calculation stream location center in line communication of formulas, a high calculating line system of 9 of operation. Yeah, done by equation. All right. Are we having fun yet? Okay. You definitely going to have to watch this back. Okay, so we got 4 box channels. That's right, Gypsy. Quasar lines are point systems. 2 set location, right? Molecules, 3 lines at 3 track location at 3 centers. Okay. Directing calculation high interference and position location of center communications, open the signal, keeping the line calculation next to 1000, sets position 2 tracks at 3 set location travel settings. Direct communication all levels and position of pyramid line rotation surface. Now, in position of 3 lines, point system, travel lines at 3 set locations, panels of 2 panels and line rotation. Travel calculation high interference, 3 sets, 3 sets, 3 sets. Now, the point system, point line center, the sun and the moon, all levels of pyramid line center as track location. See the pyramid? Now, direct communication crosses line screen. Another pyramid line rotator, center position to its operation surface, triangulation high position to center, and calculation modification. Right? So we got a pyramid grounds, we got a pyramid center, set position of center, position to its operation of film strips, and line calculation setting, and a 24 signal of operation surface as that location. Done by equation. All right? All right, and that's all done through Quasar. Okay, so the binary code lines and track to its correlation setting has to be in a foundation graph location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and position of 12 are in the bottom line settings into 0 in position locations, ozone, calculation stream location of center. Track to its correlating high interference. Now this is where it comes into binary calculation setting to your pyramid at zit location, all right? Now, this is all going to be number sequence, okay? 0 communication, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sets position locations in position of 9 center, a set position, all right? Track location line centers and 9 position location line center. Sets position location of 9, 9, 9, 9, and 4 set locations into 9, 9, and 3 set locations, and 4 lines equal lines of 3, line position location of 7, 7 locations high interference of 2, and 9 set location of travel. Now, in direct setting, we take the 2 panels and line setting, we split the anomalies as center position of operation. This sets up calculation lines of a ladder and track location. Setting lines at graphing communication settings into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 position location. Getting direct signal line settings. XC1000 comes in position location. Scans lines, center line to the 0 line setting. Travel calculation, another XC1000 comes in line rotation. Scans position of 0 line of ozone calculations. Done by equation. Very powerful stuff locations. All right. So 0 grab lines at 12 line signals. So now it's all set up. 0 calculation, 0 travels, crossing lines, laser lines, records of time sequence, high calculation setting, crossing line calculation interference, waving graph location setting, cosmic line communication setting, track location interference, SkyNet, sky grid, line rotation center, and travel communication setting direction. Look how powerful that is in set position operation. Directed communications. All levels at 8 line settings. Wave line, center line, interference, high position, location, and travel lines, and 9 signals, high calculation setting, and measure and position. Travel calculation line interference, crossing signals, high calculation sky grid line centers, high travel communication setting, and high position to its operation. Done by equation. Now it's all set up. That's it. We're done. See, we're done. We are done. It's all set up. All right. So you guys are definitely going to have to watch this back in set locations. All right. Any questions? You guys are going to, what just happened, right? And we're in one line setting into 1 hour and point system indirect signals into 24 set location. See, we did it. We did it. We did it. 24. Right on the button. Woo! It's all done. It's all done. And that's how you do it through formative equation and all set location. How it come in position location of the timeline sequence of all levels of the timeline center interference in position of past, present, future, all allocated position location, which never happened in the first place. Indirect signals brings you back in traction where you're supposed to be in your pyramids of activation and set location, right? There's nothing coincidence. There's a reason why I come into 1 hour and 24 balance. Okay? Hooah! We're done. That's it. It's all set up through provision. Look at that through equation. Woo! Okay? Look at that through equation. All right? Just going through sketch lines. Look at that through equation. All right? Whoop, whoop. Look at that through equation. All right? So it's amazing how you look at things through equation. All through numbers, letters, shapes, and symbols. All through set location, guys. Okay? Whoa. What just happened? All right. You guys are definitely going to have questions after that set location of setting. Mega multi-pass. Okay? See you in 5. Adios.